Mike Tyson earned hundreds of millions of dollars and still went broke. Not because he was weak, not because he was stupid, because money was never just money to him. For Mike Tyson, money became pain relief, status, protection, and proof. And when money becomes proof, you stop using it to build a life. You start using it to defend an identity. That is the real difference between being rich and feeling impossible to break. Tyson was born in Brooklyn in 1966 and grew up in deep instability. By his own early story, he was in trouble constantly, and by age 13, he had been arrested dozens of times. Then boxing changed everything. Custamato saw something in him, trained him, and gave structure to a kid who had grown up around fear, violence, and humiliation. At 20, Tyson became the youngest heavyweight champion in history. And from the outside, that should have been the moment the pain ended. But this is where money psychology gets strange. When you grow up powerless, success does not automatically create safety. Sometimes it just gives you better tools to hide the fear. Tyson did not just buy things. He bought symbols, cars, jewelry, mansions, exotic animals, parties, all the visible proof that he was no longer the kid the world could ignore, humiliate, or throw away. That pattern has a name. Psychologists often talk about compensation. When a person feels an old wound underneath, they overcorrect on the surface. If you felt powerless, you chase dominance. If you felt invisible, you chase attention. If you felt ashamed, you chase displays that make shame harder to see. That does not mean the spending is irrational. It means the spending is emotional before it is financial. And emotional spending becomes dangerous when the emotion underneath never actually gets resolved, because then no purchase is enough. The next one has to be bigger, louder, more visible. Tyson was making enormous amounts of money. Reports around his 2003 bankruptcy said he had earned roughly $300 million in his career, with media accounts putting his debts at about $23 million when he filed. That is the part most people hear and think they understand. He made a fortune. He spent a fortune. End of story. But that explanation is too shallow. Lots of wealthy people spend heavily and still stay wealthy. The real question is this: why does one person use money as a tool, while another uses it as medicine? Tools create distance. Medicine creates dependence. If money is a tool, you can ask calm questions. What does this return? What does this protect? What does this cost me later? If money is medicine, you ask a very different question. Will this make me feel safe right now? That question destroys people, because the answer is often yes for 1 hour, 1 night, or 1 purchase. And then the feeling disappears. So the behavior repeats. This is why Tyson's story matters far beyond boxing. Most financial self-sabotage does not look dramatic. It looks normal. Upgrading to feel respected. Buying to feel less behind. Spending after stress because the purchase feels like relief. The scale is different. The psychology is not. Tyson's life just made the pattern impossible to miss. More money did not fix the original wound. It amplified the way he responded to it. That is what money does. It does not automatically make you wiser. It makes you more powerful in the direction you were already leaning. So if your money habits are driven by pain, more money usually means bigger mistakes. And if your money habits are driven by clarity, more money usually means more freedom. That is the real lesson in Mike Tyson's story. The biggest financial risk is not low income. It is unresolved emotion with enough cash behind it. If you want to understand the hidden mental loop that makes people spend for relief, avoid discomfort, and call it normal, watch the next video on the right.